CEO and founder of RSS-Hydro. We're a small company out of Europe. We're very glad to be here after 2 years of almost like traveling nowhere. And we're very active in flood mapping and modeling and all this in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals, so SDGs. So you probably all know, like, we are pretty much looking at climate change effects when natural disasters strike, especially flooding. We tend to associate it now with climate change, and that's pretty much true because there's an increase of natural disasters almost like sixfold in the last 25 years. And floods are becoming just more severe. I mean, if we just look at Europe in 2021 in the summer, big storm over Germany and Belgium, it just destroyed everything there, and people lost their life. And for Europe, that's not very common. So here it's probably more common during hurricane season, but also those are becoming stronger and more impactful over time. So where we come in, we help to get better prepared and become more resilient. So we do flood prediction, we need better flood prediction, we need more frequent flood risk analysis and maps, and we certainly do need to better educate and communicate the risk better, and also put an emphasis on public-private partnerships. So probably know they publish reports and do market analysis, and so they're very big, they're a global company, and they analyzed, actually looking at over 1,000 companies. They analyzed how many companies were saying they were doing stuff related to Sustainable Development Goals, and they found out that 72% mentioned Sustainable Development Goals somewhere, but only 40% actually included those explicitly in their activities. And so I think aligning your activities closely with the SDGs allows the business to understand and better tackle global risks. And I give an example in the next slides that many people here that are exhibiting do actually very actively tackle the Sustainable Development Goals without necessarily referring to it. So I think that could be better advertised, that we're doing this together. So the next 10 years will also be crucial. And here's just one example. We get very active in, like I said, in flooding, climate change. So without even doing specifically the Sustainable Development Goals, we actually tackle them. Because if you look at Sustainable Development Goal number 13, climate action, and you're looking at 13.1, the target, it says strengthen resilience and capacity in climate-related hazards. Like, that's what almost everybody here does. So you implicitly tackle the Sustainable Development Goals number 13 without doing much else than your regular activity. So you should advertise that a bit more and make it clearer that the private sector is very active in this as well. So, for example, another one everybody here is very active in is the number 11, sustainable cities, smarter cities, like using technology to become more resilient for vulnerable communities, especially improving understanding of multi-hazard. And so if we look at, again, everybody here, there are certain components of businesses that address one of those targets and therefore go above it. So there's many more goals, there's 17 in total. Again, number 13, if you're running a science-driven business like us, you would certainly, tackle 13 also in the sense of you give public scientific advice to the public and to the community as a whole. You communicate science-driven climate change business, you publish articles. So that all goes into the Sustainable Development Goals. So as I said before, many of us are doing this without actually knowing, without actually being aware that the private sector addresses so many SDGs. And if we go back to Europe where we operate, as I said, we look at floods but also droughts. It's a very specialized market niche, especially in Europe. It's not many companies doing it in the private sector. A lot of this is done by the public sector, but we strongly collaborate with the public sector as well. And we transform geospatial data into actionable information. So of course, like everybody else, we want to multiply our business over at least 2 years. Over the next 2 years, we want to grow big. And so that's our team. So we're fairly young, we're very international. Margarita is just there. She's our drone pilot and also geospatial analyst. So we do speak a lot of languages coming from Europe, which is in Europe very, very useful if you want to operate across many different countries. And we do have, we're very inclusive, we're multidisciplinary. We have people looking at machine learning, we have drone pilots, we have bird observation people looking at satellite imagery, we have modeling people like myself. And more importantly, this is an example where I think the multiple sustainable development goals I just mentioned, 11 and 14, we address them right away. We do on the lower left, you see a graph. We do flat mapping in urban areas based on satellite imagery, and then we do modeling as well. So upper right and lower right, we do modeling using hydrodynamic models of floods as well. And as I said, all our services, they basically look at sustainable development goal 6. That's the water. 11, I think that's sustainable cities, smarter cities, more resilient cities. And the 13 is climate change. The 17 below there is building on partnerships. And a lot of us work with other partners, with other businesses. So we are addressing directly one of the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. So as I said, we're also very strong in the humanitarian sector. We work with the United Nations World Food Programme, looking at their drone tactical working group. We also work with Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, and we have projects in Niger, for example, where we look at flooding as well. And here again, just an example, and this is just what we partner with, but as I said, many here partner with others, and we're directly addressing this goal number 17. So we have partners, actually we are right here as well, and then we have other partners. We have public entities like city councils we work with. We are in the NVIDIA program for machine learning, and then we work with OGC, Open Geospatial Data Consortium. So all of that opens up a lot of networks. And so we also fly drones. We do a lot of mapping with drones, with big drones, with LiDAR drones, like many of you guys here. And I think just to give you a bit of a teaser, where we developed our product is the government program called Fit for Staff. But again, they encourage us to, of course, grow the business, but at the same time, we're doing that by looking at how we can better address the sustainable development goals. And I think the message here is that I think many here are addressing many goals without explicitly saying so. But there's a big push for the private sector to do better.
Yeah, what we all
according to PwC report, for example, but I think we are already doing a lot. And I think it's just for people to become more aware which development goals they address when they do their business. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, here's our details. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of the show.